Guys, here at the Garage Tapes, we love startups, especially ones that start in an attic, in the basement, in the garage. And those are the ones that we like to focus on. Ones that just everyday people saw a need, found a way to fill it, and then boom, business started, right? And then they take it to these stratospheric heights. I just absolutely love those stories. It's like the underdog. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on here. And today is actually two people from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back in 1903, long time ago. And they were tinkering with, there's actually four of them, but the two that got named after were tinkering with a bicycle and a motor in a shed in their backyard. And their first prototype didn't even make it up the hills of Milwaukee. And so they had to come back and they had to re engineer things. And they developed the V twin motor, the very first of its kind. This V twin motor is where it gained all of its notoriety. And it's been a staple in this company ever since. The two people in that shed were a William Harley and an Arthur Davidson. And they would go to create Harley-Davidson in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Huge American motorcycle culture that came out of this place, but these guys just started because they saw a need, and people swarmed to it. By 1905, they were the America's largest motorcycle manufacturer. By the 1910s, they were supplying police departments, the government, and the military. By 1920, they were selling these things through dealerships in 60 countries around the world. They made it through the 1930s. They survived the Depression. Motorcycle sales, of course, dipped, but then eventually came back. In the 1940s, World War I came through. And of course, everybody remembers Elvis Presley on a Harley Davidson. And that really helped them gain a lot of traction with people in the pop culture. And a lot of guys went to World War I, rode a Harley Davidson, and then they came back, and guess what? They wanted one for themselves. By the 1950s and 60s, they were the last American motorcycle giant. A lot of you guys like Indian and Whizzer and Cushman had fallen by the wayside. The 1980s were really hard on them, though. A lot of the Japanese motorcycle companies were starting to import. A lot of people were switching over. The Japanese motorcycles were extremely sporty, very fast, more affordable than Harley Davidson. And Harley Davidson really had to do two things. They had to solidify their customer base, and they had to really get down and get in the nitty gritty as far as quality was concerned. Harleys, up to that point, they weren't known for quality. They were actually quite the opposite. Most people bragged about how they had the ability and the knowledge to work on their own motorcycle. And when you rode a Japanese bike, you didn't have to do that. And it wasn't just from Japan either. Of course, Japan brought Kawasaki, Suzuki, and of course, Honda. But you also had these British bikes that were coming over. Ducati, right? BMW had a good bike. By the 1990s and the early 2000s, this was the epitome, this was the climax of motorcycle culture here in the United States. All your baby boomers had always wanted one, all their life, and now they finally had the resources to do it. The kids were out of the house, and so they were buying them. And not only did Harley Davidson sell a lot of motorcycles at this time, but they were selling all sorts of paraphernalia, all of your jackets and headbands and T-shirts, and everything else that went with that culture. And they were making money hand over fist at this time. And Harley Davidson's best year came in 2006. And they sold just short of 350,000 motorcycles, and they made over $6 billion that year. And they also had a huge market share of motorcycles in that year, 49.3% of the market share. That's astronomical. I don't know that there's another industry that has something such a domination over the market as Harley did back in the early 2000s. Today, the annual revenue still hovers around that $5 billion a year. Their popularity is starting to wane. A lot of the younger people, my age and younger, are looking at more of Japanese motorcycles or even like Ducati. I've always wanted a Ducati. I don't know that I would ever go buy a Harley, even though a lot of my family members, my uncles, ride them. My taste is somewhere else. And I think a lot of our culture, the older millennials, the same way. Harley Davidson is almost in the past. I have respect for it. I like them, but it's just not for me. And I think a lot of folks feel that way too. I could be mistaken. I'm no expert on this, but from the research that I've done, it just kind of seems like they're kind of stair-stepping down as far as number of units sold and revenue is concerned. You guys, I make a longer version of all of these. If you guys like this, let me know. Make a comment. Let me know if you like Harleys or what bike you like to ride. Like I said, I'll make a much version of this going into much more detail on the meteoric rise and then also how it's starting to settle back into where it's at now. But